Because here's the thing with Clipart specifically, a lot of people buy these bundles not because they want 100 or 200 of images. They literally just want like two or two objects from it. So just pick the
Mm,
best two objects from that bundle and just show it on the main photo. You don't need to show all of them. Just pick those best ones because a lot of times that's what people are looking for. They're just looking for this one or two objects.
Hey everyone, welcome to another Coffee with Kittl. Today I have Patryk with me. I'm super excited because we're going to talk about digital products. We're going to talk about AI. We're going to talk about Etsy. So there's a lot of things to unpack that I'm sure you're going to get a ton of value from. But first, if you don't mind, Patryk, just give me a little bit of an intro of yourself. Who you are, what you've been doing, what you're up to, and then we'll dive into the questions.
Sure. And thank you for having me here. So basically, what I've been doing for the last 3 years is I've been selling. I've been in e-commerce on marketplaces. So I've been selling products on different marketplaces, such as Facebook Marketplace, eBay. Now TikTok shops are popular, as well as Etsy. Earlier this year, when this whole AI boom started, I discovered a bunch of different AI tools that you can use, right? And I always want to sell digital products myself. I always want to kind of jump into this sphere. I just didn't know how. I was not
Mm,
really creative.
okay.
But with the help of all these AI tools, they kind of helped me get my feet wet with all of these like digital projects,
Yeah.
digital products. So I basically started selling images on Etsy, and I started making videos about it on YouTube. And one of the videos went viral. A lot of people enjoyed it, and most of the people these days usually know me from selling digital products on Etsy, even though I would say my background is more into e-commerce.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, it's kind of a mix of people that like know me from e-commerce and the people that know me from digital products on Etsy. But yeah, I'm majority of the people these days probably know me from selling digital products.
Nice. So walk me through what you talked about in that video, as it relates to digital products, of course, and why you think it went viral. What were you explaining in the video?
So the video was very simple video. I just show like my monthly results of selling images on Etsy, and I think the timing was right too. That
Mm,
was the time when everyone was trying to learn everything about AI. That's the time when everyone was discovering ChatGPT, Midjourney for the first time. So there was a lot of
sure,
people searching for this type of
sure.
content. I think I just got lucky with the fact that it was the timing was right, and I showed like real results because there's a lot of
Mm,
people on YouTube making content saying, "Hey, make $1 million with
yeah.
selling images or something like that." And I actually went ahead and tried doing that on Etsy, and I showed you how much I made, and I think that's why it resonated with people, and my channel exploded after that.
Wow. Okay. That's excellent. That's excellent. I'm so happy to hear that. Would you, as much as you feel comfortable with, can you give us a ballpark of, revenue that you've made from selling these digital products?
I think it was a couple $100. I
Okay.
don't remember the first month. I don't think I was anything crazy. Matter of fact, it actually the next month I think I made like $300-400. So it
Nice.
got better, and I've
Yeah.
been documenting these every videos. But like for the longest time, I was not making a lot of money with this method. To be honest with you, it was
Sure.
towards at the end of the summer when I actually got to the point where the selling these AI images actually start making some like significant amounts. For the longest time it was actually a lot of trying figuring out stuff, trying to optimize the process because it can be time consuming. So it was a lot of trying to see what is the fastest way, the most optimized way, to keep the
Okay.
good quality way, um, generating these AI images and then selling them on Etsy. And figuring out what works, what doesn't, what products sell, what products don't. So a lot of trial and error, I guess.
Sure. Yeah, so let's dive into the process just a little bit of how you go from just idea to like actually listing the product. So I guess my first question would be, I'm sure everybody wants to know, is how are you finding out what would be a successful digital product? I mean, you know as well as I do with AI, I mean, you can type anything in there and it's going to give you something relatively decent for a category like, we were just talking a second ago about skulls or mushrooms or whatever it is. How are you finding out, okay, I should be selling this kind of digital product?
I think it's a combination of um, like data analysis and a little bit of your creativity, or like picking up on trends and sometimes combining them together. So what I mean by that is that you have product research tools that you can use on Etsy.
Mhm.
um, I don't know if I can mention them here on this in this
Sure.
video, but like there's a couple of them, and basically these tools will show you, what has been recently selling on Etsy. So if you look for clip art, for example, that's been recently selling, you type in clip art, look for the data that shows you what has been selling in the last 2 months, for example. And based on that, you can figure out, okay, if these type of clip art has been selling in the last 2 months, there's a high possibility that they might still be selling if I create something similar, right? So
Sure.
um, that's kind of like the data analysis part, where you look for past trends, the most past recent trends, because there might be trends from back in the day, back like 1 year ago or something, but what has been working 1 year might not be working now. So I usually look for something that's been selling the 2 3 months, something very recent. And then once I see there's like a particular trend, in, let's say, clip art or digital paper category or something like that, then I try to modify it and add my own spin to it. That's why I'm saying you have to be a little bit creative too,
Sure.
even
Sure.
though it doesn't, AI will handle like the whole design part, but like you still
Yeah.
need to have in your head what are you trying to design, right? So I don't copy everything one to one of like what other people are doing. What I usually try to do is like maybe add some some special aspect to it. So, for example, like there was a big, huge trend on Etsy with the Highland cows
Okay.
clip art. So Highland
Interesting.
cow is just like this cow from Scotland,
Yeah.
I think, or something
Oh,
like
I
that.
love the Highland cows are
It's
are
like a big
awesome.
brown cow, and for some reason, these cows were very popular on Etsy, and I think they still are. So, someone just creating that Highland cow, just like everyone else is doing, uh, I started adding sunglasses on their head. Like I told AI to put sunglasses, so there's a Highland cow wearing a sunglasses, so it looks like funny or something. And that's the part that I'm saying, that like you should add your own spin to it, modify it, so it's not just like
Sure.
exactly the same thing, because you're just floating the market with the exactly same stuff. That's not the point. You have to add some creativity, you have to add some new aspect to the current trend if you want to make sales. And that also makes you stand out too. Like there's so many benefits. I think that the point is like to identify the trend, and once you identify the trend, create a product related to that trend, but have your own like design to it. I think that's the goal.
So yeah, that's a phenomenal process. I don't think that process is extremely different from those of us trying to get into print on demand and figuring out what sells with print on demand. That's a very similar process. And so you mentioned there's a couple of tools you use. We like eRank. eRank is quite nice, especially for Etsy. Do you have any other advice for tools that you use for researching that you found great success with?
Mostly Everbee. I
Okay.
use Everbee to do product research. That's like my number one tool.
Okay, Everbee, yeah, excellent. We love Everbee as well. So after the research portion, which you've said, and you're using an AI to make some of these graphics, how are you deciding like how many should be in a pack or what goes in a pack? Like how how are you deciding that? Are you just looking at competitors, or are you saying 15 is a good number or 30 is a good number? Because yes, the AI is taking care of a lot of it, but I mean, you still have to like put it together.
I guess my rule of thumb is to have like 20 in one pack. I create mini packs of 20. Each mini pack is like of 20 of the same thing. But I usually create four of them, and then I connect all these four into one mega pack. So that
Mega.
one mega pack has 80 mega bundle. It has 80 of the same bundles already created. So it's like the fifth bundle is almost like an extra bundle that I created from the already pre-existing bundles. And I try to always make four bundles very similar to each other. So like, let's say one pack is going to be with the Highland cows wearing sunglasses. Another one is going to be with Highland cows wearing cowboy shoes or something like that. And then I do two more of those. And then I combine those four bundles into one mega bundle, and I name it Big Highland Cow Mega Bundle or something like that. That way, um, I don't have to create a new bundle, but like I can also increase the profits from the orders. People have a higher incentive to buy these bigger orders because they see they already have the four smaller ones, but like they might as well just buy the big one, and they get all of them with a slightly cheaper price. That method has been very effective for me. So usually, yeah, I try to make small bundles and then combine them in the big one. um that's like the strategy I've been doing.
And so then walk me through how you price these things. Are you how you price the quote mini bundles that are somewhere between 20 and 30 images? And then how do you price the mega bundle so that it's attractive enough that someone would just get that instead of adding all the mini bundles to their cart?
So a lot of people that do it on Etsy, they kind of do a price to the bottom with this, and I don't think this is effective because
Okay.
I've done it myself. I was pricing my bundles very low for a couple of dollars, but you're not making any money out of it. The fees will just eat you up, and you won't make any money with this method. So what I learned by creating these bundles is that just put on quality. And a lot of, when I say quality, I mean like the quality of your listing. So if your presentation looks great, if your presentation is amazing, if your whole store gives this like luxury vibe, it just looks expensive, uh, you can price those bundles for whatever price you want. You can price them higher than like your competitors. So a lot of my bundles, even the small ones, they are between $3 to $4, and then the big ones around 10, something like that. It depends on the bundle because I have like different sizes and things of the nature. But yeah, I think a lot of people focus on like creating as many bundles as possible, but like what they should be focusing a lot of time is just like the quality of your presentation, because that's what you can increase the value of your orders with just simply having this like vision if someone's head that like, oh, this store puts effort into quality, it looks
Mhm.
expensive, therefore I can spend an extra dollar. You basically trying to build a brand. That's what it is. If your brand is strong, you don't have to play this race to the bottom, which a lot of people do. And what's end up happening is that they just don't make a lot of money with this method.
Yes, I have found that to be true in my personal experience and also just from doing a lot of research from listing digital products on Etsy, whether it is something like a clip art pack or even like a wall printable wall art or some other kind of printable. I think there's this big race to the bottom where someone's, listing it for $1.50 and then they put a 50% sale on it and then it's like 60 some cents and then you make no money. So then we have
Hmm.
then we don't have a business there, right? We just have some essentially freebies. Um, so I love the fact that you've
Yep.
talked so heavily about presentation. Um, can you walk me through what you believe goes into this fantastic presentation? Like, I mean, you're selling clip art, but how do we make that so attractive that someone's going to click through that they have to have it?
I think Clipart is a good example for this because it's a little bit different with like patterns and digital paper. But like with Clipart, like go on Etsy and look up. Most of the listings you're gonna see on Etsy are just of these like big mega bundles of Clipart selling for pennies, and the main image usually have like tons of figurines or miniatures. Like it just looks too much, and like every single listing looks like that. So the simplest trick that you can do is just like have less of that, have less figurines showed, have less um clip art objects on it. I
Sure,
think that less is more in that sense. And maybe
sure,
this is just gonna change because I feel like a couple months ago the strategy was different to have more. But now in order to stand out, like I think like less is more because your objects just pick one or two major clip art items from your bundle that you have, the best ones, and put them on the main photo, and they're gonna do better than like when you put like thousands of them and it just looks messy. If you are aiming for quality, you should go that direction. If you don't believe me, you can just simply go like to Everbee or E-Rank, look up the top um, uh, clip art stores, and you're gonna see that a lot of them have that same common factor, which is they have less images on their main photos instead of having a lot of objects. That's slightly different with like digital paper and patterns, though. I feel like with that you want to show like the most patterns or the most designs you have. But with clip art, I personally have noticed that like if you show less, it's actually better for you than when you show more. Because here's the thing with clip art specifically, a lot of people buy these bundles not because they want 100 or 200 of images. They literally just want like two or two objects from it. So just pick the
mm,
best two objects from that bundle and just show it on the main photo. You don't need to show all of them. Just pick those best ones because a lot of times that's what people are looking for. They're just looking for this one or two objects from the bundle.
we know what a good title slide, a good thumbnail should look like. What else are you including in the listing images? Are you providing an image that has all of them? Are you providing mock-ups of what the clip art could be used for? I've found success in that myself, but what else are you doing?
Yeah, this is a good question. So I usually like the first photo is usually just showing the best items in the bundle. Then the second one, I usually do show everything that's included, just to give like a sense of whether it's actually there. And then the next photos are usually just like examples. And when I say examples, they're more like collages in my on my stores. However, I do seen Etsy stores that do mockups, and I think this is the way to go. I don't know if I personally will start doing it because I already have a certain brand with my stores, and they
Yep.
are not using mockups.
Mhm.
So I don't know if I will have to replace all of the images basically, and I don't know if I want to go through that. But that's a great strategy to use mockups of examples how you can use this clip art. For example, you use it on like a thank you card or a journal or something, because a lot of people are buying for this strategy seems to be working, especially again, you can look up the data and you will see that these stores that do show mockups, usually they perform better than the other ones.
Yeah, I've found great success in my digital product store utilizing mockups. So typically, the kind of trifecta I'll always show is a sticker. I feel like that's the easiest one. It's also kind of the
Yep.
easiest to make. You just put a circle shape, put the thing on it, and give the circle some drop shadow. Apparel is another big one. And then, some sort of like social post, maybe if they want to use it for social posts. So I find that mockups are a great way to like visually sell past the idea of just a title that says clip art, but say like, here's what you could do with it. You know what I mean? Here's what you can actually do with it. So the next question I have refers to quality. I mean, you care deeply about quality. I get that sense from you from the start. Now, I think a lot of people are still a bit upset with the quality that an AI will put out. I mean, we're kind of limited to some sizing. What have you found is the sweet spot for like pixel size or the size that you're selling, and how are you handling that quality control using AI?
Yeah, now with I always edit every photo before it's being posted, and now it can be done really fast too. Like the editing part doesn't really have to take so much time. It can really be done relatively fast.
What is the sizing that you generally aim for when you're exporting and uploading to the listing?
You asking about the size of the image or the
Yeah, so like
resolution or
yeah, so well, I guess it's both, whatever the resolution, the image, whatever.
Usually I don't really care about the size of the image, but the resolution. So I usually want anything with like 300, 350 dpi.
Mhm.
But dimension wise, it doesn't really matter to me. If it's, for example, a pattern, I want it to be a square. So like the ratio is 1 to 1. For clip art, it doesn't really matter because it's all transparent. So people only care about like the object itself. So I don't think the size matters. But like the only thing that I think matters the resolution and the DPI. So the printer will when they're gonna print it out, it's gonna be a good quality. So yeah.
What's kind of in my head is that they're connected. So if you have like, for example, if you have 200 by 200 pixels, which is very, very small, and you export that at 300 DPI, it's basically like 900 pixels. So you can like whatever it is, it's basically like a modifier. So I try to aim for like 2000 by 2000, and I haven't had an issue with it yet. Hopefully, soon we'll get to the point where we can just upscale the AI images in Kittl without having to go somewhere else. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure you've done the research to see what other shops are doing. I haven't found a common size that all of them do. Some of them say, you know, yeah, some of them are small, like 800 by 800. Some are massive, like 3000 by 3000. I don't know how they're getting that, but yeah, I would say that that's been my experience
I
for
guess
you.
I want to clarify it.
Oh, go ahead.
So uh, like when I say I don't really care about the size, is that well, they are obviously not small. I don't sell very small objects. I mean that like
Right.
they are a decent size, but I cannot tell you. I just don't remember what is like
Yeah.
the size that I'm aiming for. You know what I mean? But they
Right.
are not small. I'm not selling anything that's like tiny or anything like that.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, I didn't think you were selling like 200 by 200 favicon size images. You would have about 80 inquiries in your Etsy asking for larger images, and that is not what you
Right.
want.
Yeah.
One question I have, an issue that I've ran into now that we're kind of talking about sizing and quality and pixels and file types. Do you ever run into like the upload space being too big for Etsy? Because Etsy is quite limited, and I've had to start basically uploading a PDF with a link to Dropbox because I can't upload or this zip file that's 21.6 MB, which in my opinion is still not
Hmm.
very big, but Etsy can't. They just haven't figured it out yet. So, what is your workaround for uh, big files?
I do exactly the same thing that you just said. I upload the PDF with the link to a Google Drive or something like that, and
Okay.
people get access to it.
Okay.
Yeah,
And you
it's
found that
weird
that's
because like if you, I also list on Creative Fabrica, for example, and on Creative Fabrica, the limits are like 1 gigabyte, I think, per file or something. It's pretty big, and yeah, I don't know why Etsy has such a small
I don't know.
standards. I think it's because they also it's a big platform. I think they're huge, and they're trying to use their servers efficiently or something like that. But I wish they had higher limits because yeah, the 25 megabytes is nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nothing. And sometimes I'll try to like sometimes I'll try to work it around and do like you know, mushroom bundle 1 through 10 zip, mushroom bundle 11 through 20 zip, right? And so that way, you know, it stops somebody from having to go to yet another tab to download another thing, but sometimes it just doesn't work. Like it's just not. It's
And then
cleaner to do the
also a lot
PDF.
of people can get confused with all these like part one, part two, part three.
Sure.
Like a lot of people are not that tech savvy, which is the number one message that you usually get when you sell digital products is like
Mm,
people are asking, how do I download these? I think the link is easier, even though you have to download the file and click on the link. But if you explain it to them, I don't know, I feel like that's less um because people don't want to download 10 different files, to
sure.
get and
Sure.
then unzip it and all of that. I don't know. I think it might be that the PDF with the link, it seems like it's a go-to for a lot of Etsy sellers. Like a lot
Yep.
of people are doing it, a lot of people are used to it, and yeah, I think it's just more convenient than having a bunch of zip files. But I don't know what's the
Sure.
good strategy to do that.
Yeah, I would say that from what I've seen from a lot of Etsy sellers selling digital products, so, as some of them are our collaborators with Kittl, that seems to be the only workaround is a PDF with a link. I mean, there's no Etsy is I think just Etsy was not like built upon that. And so I think they're just behind. Like you mentioned Creative Fabrica.
Hmm.
I also sell on Creative Market, and their upload file is exponentially crazy. Like I could just go at it, and it'll compress it
Hmm.
for me, but it's something like 5 or 6 gigabytes or something insane. Like you could upload like full working project files if you want. And I just think that Etsy's not was not built on that, but obviously they're coming around. Otherwise, we wouldn't have the option to sell a digital product. So hopefully they invest a little bit more
Yep.
time and perhaps money into the digital side of things, seeing as it's pretty lucrative. I mean, you mentioned a second ago that your number one comment would be how to download something. Is there any other? This is kind of my last question, is the support and inquiry section of Etsy. What's the most common, message that you receive from a buyer, if any? And have you run into any complications that we should be aware about as we begin, selling things like digital products?
I think that's the beauty of selling digital products is that you don't get a lot of messages. um, I sell physical products myself, and I always get a message, where's my order? Something happened to the order. Like there's always something happening, right? Or someone has a question about the item. With digital products, I do get a message, don't get me wrong, but like they are rare. And if they ever happen, they usually people just ask, how do I download this? That's like the number one question.
Okay.
So I'll just send them a beautifully write a script by ChatGPT explaining how to do it, and usually people can figure out by themselves how to do it. That's, I guess, the only thing that's the only message I usually get. And again, it barely happens. I maybe get like 1-2 messages a week, which when you sell like physical products or print on demand products, you get like 1-2 messages, a day, if not more. You're probably getting more than that.
Sure.
So depends on your volume.
I have found it a lot more difficult to get reviews for digital products. I don't know if you have encountered that, or if, they're starting to roll in out of like, I would have to open everything up to look at the exact amount of sales, but I only have, for the digital products, only one person has reviewed it for a clip art pack. And I don't know if that's just because like that's not what that ideal customer cares for. Like they just want to click, download, done. They don't care about leaving a review versus like a shirt. But it is a little frustrating, the review side of digital products.
I can't really comment on that because I have a lot of reviews on most of my stores.
That's great.
So I don't, and I don't even message people. So I message maybe a couple of people after their purchase, but I don't really do that anymore. And which I'm not saying, I think that's a great habit. I feel like you should do it because it's for sure helps bring people back. I'm
Sure.
not saying that you should follow what I'm doing. I actually would say you should message people. But yeah, I don't know. Like I do have reviews, and I would say out of 10 orders, at least one of the person would leave a review. So that's like
Okay.
10%
Okay.
um, return rate. But that's my experience.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, it's also going to depend on, like you said, quality, what it's used for, what's the purpose, the audience that it's targeted to. So, yeah, I haven't spent too much time, going into digital products, but yeah, maybe with this advice, I'll change some listings around and see if we can get some more reviews. But this has been a fantastic interview so far, getting knowledge about your process into to digital products. Is there any other last minute thoughts, final thoughts for a beginner, someone that's trying to get into this game? Any last minute advice or encouragement that you want to give before we sign off?
I think a lot of people think that this is a very easy thing, and it is a very easy thing to start, but to get to a decent level, you actually have to put a lot of work. um, it's easy to start, creating images, but it's gonna take a lot of work if you want to get to a decent level. And I think a lot of the factors has to do with the trends on Etsy. I think Etsy is a very trend based platform. So if you're
Mm,
trying to sell clip art or whatever it is, you probably want to utilize the trend. So right now, it's October. Halloween is almost there. I would not start selling Halloween. I think you were too late on this one. But like Christmas, I think it's a big trend, and you can start jumping on like Christmas train hype, and sell these type of products. Uh, and yeah, I think those are the two main things that I have for your audience to share with.
excellent. Yeah. So don't give up and try to jump on trends, essentially. It would be the
Yeah,
guiding principles. Well, Patrick, thank you so much for joining me for this Coffee with Kittl. Again, super amazing advice. I hope it helps a lot of our viewers. Everyone watching, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe, which you can do down at that button right there, that subscribe button. I'm also going to link Patryk's channel as well for you to check out, maybe get some more advice, a little dig in a little bit harder into digital products and things like that. And we hope you have a great rest of the day, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.